name is Peter, and welcome to another episode about the sailing vessel Silver Heels. Today we're going to do a tour of the boat, and I thought it would be best to do this early on before my wife and I had a chance to clutter it up with stuff. So what you're going to see here is how the boat came to us pretty much from the factory. And we'll start by looking at a few things that we can see from the ground, including the brand new trailer. So the boat is sitting, as I said, on a brand new Triad trailer. It is galvanized completely. It is equipped with surge brakes. I kind of went belt and suspenders on this. I do plan to do a lot of towing, although not this year. But so I opted for the dual axle model and the spare tire. So I'm fully loaded there. This gizmo is part of the mast hoist system. We'll demonstrate that someday, but not today. This is the part that attaches to the deck just forward of the mast step, and the winch provides the mechanical advantage necessary to raise and or lower the mast. We've got the mast up now, of course. So as you can see, we've got a nice shiny hull, courtesy of a new paint job, and we've got a nice coat of anti-fouling paint on the bottom and a little stripe that makes the boat look like it's going fast. We've got our outboard on the back. It's a Mercury. It's my recollection is it's an 8 horsepower, although oddly it doesn't actually seem to indicate the horsepower on the motor itself. So this has never been run, and the reason I chose this particular model is that the both gear shift and throttle are right there on the tiller arm, so it's all built into one mechanism. You turn it one way and it's forward, and the further you turn it, the faster it goes, and then you just reverse it. You pass through neutral and into reverse, and the further you turn it the other way, the faster it goes. We've got the powered motor lift the general boats can provide you. So we'll demonstrate that when we're up in the cockpit. This, of course, we've got the gas line and the electrical lines. This is tied in so it'll charge the starting battery. I've got 2 batteries aboard, but they are not interconnected, I'm pretty sure. And we've got the standard rudder configuration. This is the interlink for the tiller and motor, and we'll demonstrate that in a bit. There's our swim ladder. And our starboard side is equally shiny. It could use a little cleaning. And our at the moment, our 1-3 hull, the drain for the galley sink. Up on the bow, we have an anchor. Right? General Boats does supply an anchor, although like a lot of things, they supply whatever's hanging around. So I have the good fortune here to have a Fortress FX7, and I'll have to do some research on that. You know, to my eye that looks a little small, but I'm sure Stan wouldn't put it on the boat if it weren't appropriate. We'll begin in the cockpit, since we were just discussing aspects of the cockpit. You probably noticed first off we have these nice lovely cushions. These are actually used, but you couldn't tell that by looking at them, so we really like those, and we like the color. It stands out. So I mentioned the motor lift, and that's controlled with a rocker switch right here on the transom, and we'll go ahead and lower that. That was pretty easy. It's just as easy coming up. I'll go ahead and connect the tiller motor linkage, and we can take a look at that. It turns out I just overlooked the the 8, so it is an 8 horsepower. Normally we'd make this connection from up in the cockpit, of course, but it's easier to demonstrate from down here, and this mast support would normally not be in place when you're working here, and it's kind of in the way. But it's not hard to take off, but I left it there so I could show you. Anyway, there's a little clip here that holds the connector piece when it's not being used, so it doesn't flop around. And when you go to connect it, there's a hole through this end piece that just slips over this rod that Stan has installed in the engine cover, and there's a quick pin to hold that in place. And now I can't see it, of course. There's a hole drilled in the top surface here, and there's a hole goes through this piece that slides along, and somewhere those two will line up. There. So now the motor and rudder are interconnected. The rudder, of course, would in the water it would be down, but and they move together. Pretty slick, eh? So while we're here in the aft end of the cockpit, I'll point out a few more features. Here with the red lines is the new design General Boats continuous loop traveler system. So no more lines flopping around. You just push and pull. There we go. Well, I'm looking forward to playing with that. We also have the General Boats exclusive fiberglass tiller. Should last a lifetime. And the hiking extension. And there's a socket over here in the starboard side that the end knob will lock into, so you can lock the tiller into position and go get a beer. Also, of course, under the rear cushion here is the lazarette. Lots of room in there. Looks like it's going to be hard to organize, but we'll work on that. Also, I'm not sure if it's in the shot, but there's a socket, I guess I'll call it, or base unit that'll hold the leg for the table that can go out here. And we'll go ahead and put that in place. So there's the table in place. So this is certainly handy for eating in the cockpit, which I imagine we'll be doing a lot of. When it's not being used, the table lives in over the V-berth, and I'll show you that when we get that far. And of course, it can also be used inside the cabin. Continuing to move forward in the cockpit, we've got mostly standard stuff here. and most of it exists both on port and starboard sides. We'll stick with the port side. So we've got a cubby for storing stuff, and it's got a secret upper shelf that you have to get way down to see, but it's up there. You can find it with your hand pretty easily. We got a clam cleat, I'm pretty sure that's called, and a winch for handling the jib line, and a block. We've got a little piece of hardware here that's for mounting the Bimini. We do have a Bimini. I've taken it off at the moment because it kind of gets in the way when you're moving around the boat, but we'll put it on before we're done here. We've got a grab rail, port and starboard. This is the line, the black line there is the topping lift, which holds up the aft end of the boom. Some hardware for running the jib sheets if you run them inside the shrouds. And a solar panel. We've actually got two of those. That one's completely in the shade at the moment. And they are wired so that one charges the starting battery and the other charges the house battery. The black line on this side is for the roller reefing jib. We got the 175 jib. We won't pull it out today. There'll be videos made of us underway, so you'll see it eventually. And right in front of the companionway there, we've got the line and cleat for the centerboard. Under the port seat, I've got the gas can, and Stan's crew built a little thing to hold it in place. It's a pretty small can, so I'm going to have to revisit this. Not sure what we're going to do about it. So I put in the companionway hatch so I could show it to you. It's one of the items on the boat that I'm quite sure is brand new. And I wanted to show you this nifty little feature that the guys at General Boats thought up. We have a indentation here that this table leg will fit into, and now you've got another horizontal surface in the cockpit, and it can be used if someone's in the cabin. They could use it as a serving area, although if someone's in the cabin, they're pretty much stuck in there. So we'll continue the tour on deck going forward before I take it down into the cabin. One feature that I don't want to neglect, of course it comes with all Rhodes 22s, is the pop top, which is currently in its raised position, of course, and gives you over 6 feet of headroom in the cabin when it's up. We do have a pop top enclosure for it, and I'll show you that too before we're done. So moving forward on the starboard side, Stan has given us some nice new LED running lights. We don't plan on doing a lot of night sailing, but want to be legal if we're out longer than expected. We've got the fill for the water tank here. I didn't have Stan put in anything for shore power because I don't expect to be at dockside often. My wife may have other ideas. We have one opening hatch over the head. I had Stan put a VHF antenna on the top of the mast, so we have connections for the masthead light and the coax cable for the antenna there. We've only got 2 conductors in the wire for the masthead light, so we'd have to do a lot of finagling in order to also have an anchor light up there. Not sure what we're going to do about that. We do, of course, I should mention, have the inner mast furling. That was on my must-have list, and I'm sure it's not a new sail, but it's a sail with the vertical batten, which people seem to like. Back down on deck, we've got, it's all white on white, so probably doesn't show up real well, but that's the base for the mast raising and lowering winch gizmo. You'll see the snaps here for the pop-top enclosure. And we've got a bow cleat. There were a couple cleats in the back I didn't quite show you. And the roller reefing jib. And this is, I'm pretty sure, is the CDI brand. So I think that'll complete the deck tour. Now we'll go down into the cabin. So the cabin, of course, on a 22-foot long boat isn't going to be really all that large, but it'll be large enough. At least we hope so. So we'll begin the tour with the galley, which is on the starboard side. So a lot of the galley appears to me to be new. Not everything, but most things. So of course here we have the counter area. It's about 17 inches wide at the aft end and about 16 at the forward end. We've got a little sink with an electric pump for the water. I might have preferred a foot pump or hand pump to conserve water, but I doubt we'll mess with that much. There's storage behind these sliding doors that I think is going to work for plates and bowls and that kind of thing. More storage in this area, maybe cups, other things, condiments, I don't know. Sliding doors down here below. The plumbing for the sink uses up a lot of real estate down here. I'm not sure if maybe that can be improved on. And more area here. Of course, this is all totally unstructured at the moment, so we'll be doing something to improve that situation. And then we've got the icebox, which is pretty clearly a used item. Got this upper area, nice with a drain for to collect the cold water, and some slide out trays there. We might revisit this as well, but not this season. At the aft end of the galley is the electric panel for the boat, and next to it is a cigarette lighter style 12-volt outlet. I think I'm going to need a lot of I have a lot of things that need USB plugs for charging, so I'm probably going to expand the number of outlets at some point if I can figure out how to get that all apart. Up near the ceiling is the antenna and power connection for a VHF radio, which I do not yet own. Oh, here's a feature that Stan has started putting in: a slide out mechanism for the stove. So that seems handy. And there's little tabs here that you can use to kind of stabilize it a little. I can't do one-handed, but so the disappearing stove. There is a bit of storage room aft of the refrigerator. Not sure what we're gonna use that for. And then at the right down on the floor, cabin sole level, there's some empty space back under the cockpit. So we'll try to put that to good use. Here on the port side of the cabin, we primarily have the settee, of course, and there's another base for the table, and I'll show you what that looks like. So here's the table in the cabin. It didn't seem to me that there was quite room for an adult to sit over here, but there's only going to be two of us on board, so sitting forward and aft should work, although right at the moment I'm kind of trapped here. The table can, excuse the screeching, be used in this orientation, and if I went like that, I could sneak out. So as I said, if the weather's decent, we'll be eating outside. I expect most of the time, but at least this option is here and available. So in addition to being used as a table, both in the cockpit and here in the cabin, the table top is also used to convert this area into a double berth, and I'll show you that. So there are cleats, for lack of a better term, here which will support the top down here. And then the back cushions can be moved over. Well, I'll have to work this out, but to create the double bed. And that's what it looks like when all the cushions are in place. So in the aft end of the settee, Stan's crew has provided us with a little reading light. I don't know if that's LED or incandescent. Before I forget, I wanted to mention that all of the wiring I've seen on the boat looks new to me, so that appears to have been totally redone. Here under the step, there's this pull-out drawer. It's really quite deep. What is that altogether? It's like 32 inches deep. So, and there is room, you know, the total space here is like 9 3/4 inches. So there's really room for another drawer there. It couldn't go as deep as this one, but you know, every cubic inch of storage I can find, I'm going to try to make use of. So continuing our way forward, we find the head. When I specified to Stan that I did not want a marine toilet, he suggested going with the semi-enclosed head option rather than the one where there's a door, the swell head design. So so that's what we did, and I guess it's going to work out. Well, I'm not quite finished on the subject of the head, but I think we'll leave that discussion for another time. This was the seat I was sitting on a few minutes ago, and that lifts up to make the head a little bit more accessible. And of course, we do have the hatch here, which helps with both ventilation and light. It's translucent. So according to the initial description of the boat I got from Stan, I had opening ports on the front, but well, and he said that they're troublesome and he might replace them, and then I guess he went ahead and did replace them. So we have all of our ports are non-opening. And then we finally come to the V-berth. And so it's not huge. I'm only 5'7.5". And you know, I'll fit up there all right, but Kim and I won't both fit there probably. So, and plus, it's inevitable that stuff gets stored up here. So it remains to be seen exactly what the sleeping arrangements are going to be. We do have some storage, not really usable storage, but there's stuff underneath here I'll show you. So on the starboard side, under this plywood cover, we have the water tank. So I guess the days of Stan using a Rubbermaid tub for a water tank are behind us. So this is the fill hose here, and this is probably something that lets air escape, I'm guessing. The pump for the water in the kitchen, or the galley sink, is down there. I see we have some wire nuts which don't meet somebody or other's code for boat wiring. So, and that's it for this side. And on the port side, well, we have more of the tank. I'm not sure how many gallons that is. It's big. And we have one of our two batteries. The other one is under the settee. So this is the house battery. So, and there's a storage area behind those panels that form the edges of the V-berth. So I've got some stuffed up there. Up at the ceiling is the table in its storage location. And forward of that is a drawer-like thing where you could put your anchor rod. But like most people, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do that. So that'll probably just come out of the boat. Okay, and that pretty much takes care of the interior. Two more items that I can think of off the top of my head that I promised we'd cover is the pop-top enclosure and the Bimini. So I'll show you those. So that's what the pop-top enclosure looks like. I've put this up twice now, and it definitely went much faster the second time than it did the first time. So it's not surprisingly one of those things that you get better at as you do it. So it does have a window here on the back and one window on each side where you can roll the plastic out of the way and just have the screen to get better ventilation. while still keeping the bugs at bay. One little odd thing is that the zippers on the sides here only have pulls on the outside, not on the inside. So it's a bit tricky closing yourself in from the inside, but it can be done. So like a lot of things with the boat, we're not sure how much we're going to use it, but I think this is one thing we're definitely going to like. And of course the whole door can be rolled up and snapped out of the way as well. On to the Bimini. So this will be my first time putting the Bimini on by myself. So we'll see how this goes. The long leg, the full tube, goes toward the rear, according to the guys at General Boats. All right, that wasn't too bad. So they found this cover for it hanging around in the factory, and it's a little, you know, it's not new, but it'll help protect the Bimini itself. So it's a good thing to have, and it just zips off. Getting it on is a little more complicated than that. And so, as you can see, well, in a minute. Our Bimini is white. So we break the blue colored theme we've been going with. I'll set it up and let you come see what it looks like underneath. So here we are lounging in the shade, and a nice change of pace that is. So I think that's the tour. So I will be making some modifications in the cabin, but there'll be separate videos about that, and eventually we'll be taking this down to Long Island Sound, or actually Fisher's Island Sound, in Groton, and launching. So I don't think we'll be able to take a video of the launching, because both Kim and I will be pretty busy doing the launching stuff itself. So maybe after we get more comfortable with the launching process, we'll be able to do a video about it, you know, when we know what we're doing. Okay, well, hope this was useful or entertaining, or at least one of the two, and thanks for watching.